boys got in pretty well. What's the mood amongst the camp after the Bahrain defeat? Is it all focus on bouncing back against Indonesia?
Yeah, definitely. I think experience within the game and life experience itself teaches you to respond in the strongest and most efficient way when you face a bit of adversity, and that's obviously definitely been the focus since the result the other night.
I mean, we've seen how this group thrives when they're trying to bounce back and working against adversity, and well, you're going to be facing off against an Indonesian team, 80,000 hostile fans at their back, and an Indonesian team buoyed by a 1-1 draw with Saudi Arabia. Almost, it perversely works really well for you to work off that adversity, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a facet of life, like I said, adversity and when you face it and how you deal with it, and, it's a real skill set when you are able to respond and bounce back, swiftly, and like I said, that's the full focus now, and, the boys are obviously looking forward to the challenge. Any time we get to pull on that Socceroos jersey and be here in camp is a great opportunity for us individually and collectively, and like I said, we're trying to learn from our experience the other night and use that moving forward to become better and stronger.
And you're expecting this Indonesian challenge to be very, feral, for lack of a better word.
I mean, for us, the mentality we always try and approach for every game is to respect every opposition we're playing, and that's exactly what they deserve. If you go into a game with a wrong amount of respect, whether it's respecting someone too much or not respecting someone enough, then it can be detrimental either way, through being complacent or through, I guess, a fear factor in giving someone too much time on the ball, or a team too much time and too much respect, and that can be detrimental that way also. So first and foremost, we always approach the game and we speak about it collectively, about making sure that we focused on that aspect and given the right amount of respect that the opposition deserves. And for this Indonesia game, it's going to be no different. We're playing obviously here. There's going to be a big crowd. They showed their qualities not only against Saudi Arabia recently, but obviously in the past as well. And our focus is turning to them and coming up with a game plan to deliver the result for us and obviously Australia.
All right, we'll go online. Erin, did you want to ask a question?
Sure, thanks. Matt, just looking at these qualifiers, how difficult are they? Like, obviously everyone had to fly to Australia from overseas for the game down to Indonesia. How hard is that, I guess, to manage, or is it just something that the Socceroos have come to expect?
I mean, ever since I've been a part of the Socceroos, it's been part of the parcel, that us international Australian players that obviously play throughout the world, in Europe and Asia or wherever. It's just part and parcel of the game. But I mean, it's something different that sets us apart from other countries out there in the world, and I think that's also that's part of the identity that we form being a Socceroos player. Not many other countries, teams within those countries, players within those countries, have to endure and experience all those types of things, and I think it only hardens us and makes us take even less for granted what it means to play for our national team. And I was going to say, on that sense, it's an easy thing to do, to come and travel for your country in order to play for them. There's almost no difficulty in that, because I think I speak on behalf of all the boys and myself that we'll do whatever it takes to go and represent our great country and try to do the best we can in order to make them proud. So, the travel is just a challenge that, we overcome, and, there's no other alternative to that. And, thankfully, everyone within the squad has been doing it, for quite some time. And, you get accustomed to doing it and getting used to it, and you work out little tricks to help you adjust as quick as possible. And, we've got no issues on that front.
Did you have a follow-up, Erin?
Just mention some of those tricks then, Matt. What are you all if you did beat the jet lag and the travel?
Didn't
What
quite.
are some of the tricks for travel and help you beat jet lag, etc.?
Yeah, I think probably each individual has their own little thing that maybe works for them, but for me, myself, I really try to battle through, I guess, the appeal of trying to sleep during the day. As soon as I leave my club overseas, I'm trying to get on the time zone of where we're going to play the game and all that straight away. And just trying to keep busy throughout the day to get to a point of the night time where I can sleep through the night and get on the schedule of obviously being over here, and I feel that works for me. I mean, on the flight across here yesterday, obviously a few guys chose and opted to sleep and all that, but for me myself, wanting to make sure that I would get through last night with a good sleep and whatnot, I stayed awake on the flight the whole time and kept busy, and had a few conversations with guys on the plane, just talking about obviously football and life and all those types of stuff. And I had a really good sleep last night, and I'm sure the other boys did with their own approaches as well. But for me, I think it's around the sleeping. Not trying to continue on a European time format or nothing like that. Just trying to get in here and get on the schedule over here.
Thanks, Aaron. Let's go to Jonathan. Did you have a question, Jonathan?
Yeah, for sure. Just one quick one, Matt. When you were a kid growing up and you were watching the Socceroos and the success that the club had, and what do you remember the most, and how important is that to kind of bounce back against Indonesia, to create that turning point and try and raise some positivity around this squad after what happened last week?
I guess my fondest memories of the Socceroos, to answer the first part of your question, no doubt has to be that Uruguay qualifying playoff match in Sydney when I was there in the stands as a young boy, and seeing the heroics of the team and Schwarzer obviously that night to qualify for that second World Cup at our first in obviously a long time. That was obviously a special moment as a fan, and I think until this day the greatest ever sporting or entertainment event that I've ever been to. As a fan or part of the audience and crowd, and following that World Cup there in Germany, getting up in early hours of the morning and celebrating the team's success there. That first game against Japan, I remember screaming at the top of my lungs at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, when obviously we were scoring those goals towards the end of the game, and thinking that maybe I was going to be the sole person doing so. But when I opened the door to do it, I could hear other people also cheering at the early hours of the morning, and I'll probably have to say that they're my two fondest memories as a young kid growing up supporting the Socceroos. And the second part of your question, I mean, like I said, there's a skill set in order to deal with adversity in life and in football, and we're just, Arnie himself and the senior boys within the squad and everyone, we've sort of adopted the mentality straight away that we've got to move on quickly from obviously the disappointment of the other night. And it's one thing sitting and saying, we need to learn from it and all that, and it's one thing to acknowledge it, but to actually be doing that and learning from it is a skill within itself. And we're definitely focused on that point at the minute. And we obviously just arrived last night, but there's no doubt we're going to be doing a review of the game, and we're going to be working on certain things for this upcoming Indonesian match in the training sessions that are going to follow today and in the next couple of days to prepare for that game. And I imagine it's going to be a mixture of areas we need to improve on from the match the other night, and a focus on obviously Indonesia and their strengths and weaknesses and how we can exploit them and get the result against them.
Thanks, Jonathan. Did you have a follow-up?
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All good. Let's go to Luke.
Hey, Maty, hope you're well. Thanks for your time. I know you said you got the review to come, but in those type of reviews after a result like the other night, does Arnie welcome feedback from the secondary players like yourself and Jacko as from an on-field perspective as to sort of where it did and didn't sort of work out, regarding the game plan that he asked you to carry out?
Yeah, I mean, Arnie's approach is a very open one. Obviously, he has his skills and expertise that have delivered success for himself as a manager and the teams that he's coached. And in my opinion, his approach is, like I said, a very open one, in that he has his own opinions on what he forms from what he sees and what he watches back, but he also likes to get the sensations that we're feeling out on the field in order to get the whole grasp on obviously how it unfolded, both obviously in positive performance and results, and the contrary, like a result in a performance the other night. So there's been initial discussions, and it's obviously very easy immediately after the game to be caught up in the emotions and all that follows a game. And obviously there was a few negative ones from our lack of satisfaction at how we played the other night. And I think upon, when you get those couple of days post the game, when you're in a camp like this, and you have obviously time to, let the dust settle on that, and you get your composure about yourself again, and you look through things. You can quite often have a little bit of a different opinion from the match, a couple of days later. But all in all, the point I'm trying to make is that, Arnie's approach is that he likes to get a sort of a full picture on everything that unfolded, and no doubt he's going to be presenting us with some constructive criticism today in order to be better and make us stronger, and we'll be better moving forward.
You've been in some incredible environments in clubland and seen different systems, different coaches, different you've seen it all over the course of your career so far. So what did you see the other night from the back there that you might bring to a review that's going to help turn things around?
I guess from my perspective, I've seen the highlights of the game. Haven't watched a full replay of the game as yet, but my initial feelings when the game was unfolding the other night was that what we spoke about pre-game as well is that from a mentality point of view, nothing is ever handed to you. You always have to go out and earn the right to win, and you got to obviously go out and do what's needed in order to make that happen. And from a mentality perspective, I don't think we ever get that wrong. I don't feel as if we went out to that match not respecting the opponent enough or too much or anything like that. It's just obviously you get to this next stage of the group phase, and football, on the professional and international level, it's tough, and you can play games out many times and you quite often get different results and whatnot. But from a mental perspective, I don't think we approach the game with anything amiss in that department. But I felt we were perhaps a little bit naive in that we didn't ask enough questions in the right areas. In the front third, we didn't get enough personnel into the dangerous areas, and we didn't perhaps get enough service into those areas to ask their defence enough real questions and really put them under pressure in that sense. And I think that's something initially that stood out to me. We didn't work we didn't ask enough questions of their goalkeeper and test him too much, and then we know in these types of games against this sort of opposition, the longer you go without getting that opening goal, the more the wasting time and diving and all that type of stuff comes into it, and the referee obviously has to make decisions on whether it's simulation or whether it's legitimate injury to the player and whatnot. And we also speak about that as well, that in those scenarios, these sorts of opposition, they try to provoke us in that sense and distract us from our game and whatnot. But the game is a long time, and there's many moments within the game that we can rectify that and not allow that to become a factor within the game. And we didn't do that well enough the other night, unfortunately. But like I said, we've got to learn from that, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing, and making sure that that's not a factor moving forward in the games to come.
Thanks, Luke. Just one more from Joey, and I need to let Maty go.
Maty, you've obviously spent some time in the Eredivisie recently. There's a heavy Dutch influence in the form of diaspora in this Indonesian squad. Do you have any personal experiences with any of the Indonesian players that you'll be facing off tomorrow from your time in the Eredivisie?
Well, off the top of my head, I guess what comes with the Dutch influence of football, we know ourselves obviously with the Australian national team, and we've had obviously a heavy Dutch influence in the past as well. We know that they're a very technical nation. They love to play obviously the modern game of football, and it's very technically reliant and whatnot. At least that's my observation of my time around Dutch football, and that's what we're expecting tomorrow night. Like I said, in regards to the respect of the opposition, we know that they're going to have quality that can hurt us if we're not on our game, and we don't take away the opportunity for them to do that through how we can play. And like I said, but we're focused on us and what we need to do, and we're confident as a squad that we can rebound from the result the other night and take a positive step towards this qualification.